Okay, so now I'm moving to question 4.2. So I'll just read through the instructions there. It says using the incomplete foundation and break lines, draw to scale 1:20. That's very important. So obviously for the sectional elevation, I'll have to use scale 1:20. So I have to draw the detailed section on cutting plane AA of the area in the ellipse shown on the incomplete floor plan. All right, so where is the cutting plane? The cutting plane is right there from the incomplete floor plan, so it means we'll cut the dwelling right there. And where are we looking? We're looking from this direction as indicated by the small triangles. All right, so we have to use scale 1:20, and then we have to show the following features on the drawing. We have to show the complete foundation, external wall, and a door detail. Point number 2, the roof detail, including the fascia board. In this video, I'll focus more on the roof detail. All right, okay, and then we have to show the veranda and lean to roof detail, the post and railing, as well as the fascia board to the left, which is the north side of cutting plane AA. And we have to show all hatching detail, but only the substructure hatching may be drawn in neat frame. Then the rest you have to use your instruments. All right, okay, so I have to label the following: the ground level, finished floor level, the DPC, obviously using the correct abbreviations. All right, okay, so now I can go ahead and start drawing my sectional elevation. As you can see on the screen, I've already drawn the external wall with the concrete slab there. So because I wanted to focus more on the roof, right? So the thickness of the wall, obviously I took the dimensions from this section, right, whereby we are given the incomplete foundation, external wall, veranda, and the railing detail. All right, so these are the dimensions that I use to come up with this. All right, so we are given the foundation there. So obviously I'll start by constructing the wall. The thickness of the wall is 200, and remember you have to divide the dimensions by 20 because they said we must use scale 1:20. All right, so that will be 10. So the thickness of this wall is 10, and then the thickness of the concrete slab, it's 100, but when I divide this by 20 I get 5, so it means I measured 5 there. All right, and then this is the height of the door. All right, we are given it's 2000 there, and then above the door I must have the 200 by 80 millimeters lintel. All right, so the height of the lintel there, it's 80 because we are given here. So I divided this 80 by 20, and then I measured that number there. All right, okay, and then here this line, it's this line where the wall plate will rest. All right, so from the finished floor level to that section there, it's 2880. When I divide this by 20 I get 144. So I measured 144 from the finished floor level going up to there. All right, so I want to just start drawing the roof. All right, so if I have that line, that means I can start drawing in the roof. Okay, so pay attention because this part is very important, because we only draw roofs in grade 12. In grade 11 we were drawing the sectional elevations from the foundation to the ceiling level. All right, but for now in grade 12 we draw the sectional elevations from the foundation up all the way to the roof level. Okay, so if you have that line, perfect. So what I have to draw there, I have to draw in the roof plate. All right, the wall plate, sorry. So we are given the measurements for the wall plate. All right, the wall plate is the plank where the roof trusses rest on. All right, so always when you are about to draw a roof, you must start with the wall plate. The wall plate is placed flat on that part there of the wall. So the thickness of the wall plate is 40. All right, and then the width of the wall plate is 120. So let's say this is the piece of wood, which is the wall plate. So I'll just draw a 3D view of the wall plate. So this is the piece of wood. So the thickness of that, it's 40, all right, and then the width, it's 120, all right. So that's what this two numbers indicate. It indicates the thickness and also the width, all right. Okay, so I'll just draw the thickness going up. So when I divide 40 by 20, I get how much? It's 2, so it means I'll measure 2 going up from that line there. I'll mark there. Okay, then I'll just draw a light construction line to my left. Okay, and then the width is 120, so I'll just divide this by 20. So what's the answer? The answer is 6. So I'll measure 6 going in. 6 is somewhere there. Okay, and then I can just draw that rectangle. Let me just extend that line. And then I just draw the cross inside the rectangle. So this is the wall plate. That's where the roof trusses will rest on. All right, so now my focus will be on this point. All right, so this point on the wall plate is our reference point. That's where the rafter will rest on. All right, so the rafter will be drawn across that point there. All right, so if you don't know what is a rafter, remember the roof trusses from technology grade 8. We had something like this. This frame structure is called a roof truss. All right, so it was something like this. The wall plate is right there from both sides. All right, so obviously this component here, it's the rafter. So this rafter is resting on the wall plate at this point, right? That point is here for my drawing, right? So it means I'll have to draw a line across that point. And then now what's the angle of the rafter? The angle is the roof pitch. The roof pitch is given to us. It's 25 degrees, all right? So it means I'll measure 25 degrees from the wall plate. So I'll just take my protractor, then place my protractor at that point there, like that, and then measure 25 going in that direction anti-clockwise. So 25 is right there. I'll mark a point, and then from there I'll just draw a light construction line, obviously from that point across this point on the wall plate. But remember, we have the break line there. It means I can start drawing the line from there going down. Light construction. All right, so now what's the width of the rafter? We are given here the roof trusses. They are 120 by 40 millimeters. So the width, I'm talking about the width, this part, how wide is the roof truss? It's 120, so I'll have to divide that by 20, so which is 6. So from that line I'll just measure 6. All right, but I have to draw a line parallel to this one, so I can just align my set square with that line, and then take the other set square, put it this side, and then I can just slide it up to that point there, draw a light construction line like that. Okay, so this is the rafter there, as you can see. So now where does the rafter end. So I'll just go back to my roof notes there. Let me just erase this. Okay, so these are the roof notes. So I'll have to check for the overhang. Right, so we are given the roof overhang to the end of the roof truss, which is 300 millimeters. All right, so what is a roof overhang? A roof overhang is the gap from the wall, the external wall of the house, to where the roof truss end. Right, so it's the gap. Let's say here we have the wall, so this is the roof truss. So it's this gap from the external wall to this part of the roof truss. So it's this gap, this distance here. So we call this gap what? A roof overhang. Okay, so we are given that it's 300. So obviously I'll divide that by 20. So 300 divided by 20, it's 15. So I'll measure 15 from the external wall going out like that. I'll just mark a point anyway. All right, and then from there I'll just draw a vertical line. So it means the roof truss will end right there. So here I can just go ahead and draw a solid line like that. Okay, and then for the wall here I can just extend it a little bit because I want to draw that rafter going up like that. So I'll just draw in the rafter there, the roof truss going up. Just add outlines there like that. All right, I hope it makes sense. So this is the roof truss there. All right, okay, so now what can I add? I can just add the fascia board. We are given the measurements for the fascia board there. It's 200 by 20 millimeters fascia boards on all sides. Right, where do you place the fascia boards? The fascia boards are placed just there by the roof truss there. All right, so the thickness is 20 there, so it means I'll just measure 1 millimeter going to the left from the roof truss. Right, so that's 1 millimeter, and then I draw a light construction line. So that's the thickness of the fascia board. So from this part of the roof truss, I'll mark a point in the middle. So I'll just mark a midpoint there. This was okay. I will mark there. So this is the midpoint. So that's where I'll place the fascia board. So we are given the height of the fascia board, which is 200. So I'll divide this by 20, which is 10. So from that midpoint on the roof truss, I'll mark 5 going up, 5 going down. All right, and then from those 2 points I'll just draw in my fascia board there. And remember, the thickness is 1 millimeter, so I can just draw it in there like that. So that's the fascia board right there. All right, okay, and then from there I will have to add the purlins on top of the roof truss there. All right, so normally we just leave a small gap there to draw the first purlin, right, because we don't have the standard measurement. So I'll just measure let's say 4 millimeters. So I'll draw the first purlin there, right there. All right, so I have to check for the measurements for the purlins. So the purlins are given there. It's 80 by 50 millimeters purlins at 1000 millimeters center to center. This C/C stands for center to center. It means obviously the purlins are placed on top of the roof trusses. So if I have the first one there, it means the next one will be placed at the distance of 1000, but from the center to the center of the next one. That's what it means, right? So the C/C stands for center to center. So when I draw in the first purlin there, that means from the center of the first one to the center of the next one will be 1000. All right, they're placed at a space of 1000. Okay, obviously when I divide this by 20, I get how much? 4. All right, okay, 20, so it's 4 there. Then 50, it's 2 point something. 50 divided by 20, it's 2.5. So I can make it 3. Okay, so it means the depth of the pelling is 50. So I'll mark there 3, going up from that point 3, and then I just draw perpendicular lines. Just make sure you draw perpendicular lines. Draw a light construction there, light construction there. All right, and then the height of the pelling is 80, which is 4. All right, okay, so I'll measure 4 going up. So 4 is right there. All right, so I can just draw that in like that. And then obviously I can align my set square with that line there, slide it to that point there like that. I can also just draw a light construction line all the way up. Okay, so this is the pelling. So I'll just add the cross inside there to show that it's a plank, a wooden plank, like that. Okay, so now I'll have to draw the next pelling. So I don't know if it will be visible here, so I'll just first convert the 1000 using my scale. So it's 1000 divided by 20, which is 50. So from the center of the first pelling there, the center is there, I'll measure 50. So as you can see, 50, it passes the break line, so that means there's no need for me to draw the next pelling. So I'll just draw the first one. All right, okay, so on top of that pelling there, I'll have to add the roof sheet, right? Okay, I'll go back to the roof notes again. Where is the roof sheet? There, I need the measurements. Okay, it's there. So it's 40 millimeters corrugated roof sheet placed on the palings, right? Okay, so the thickness is 40, so it means I'll just measure 2 on this line. All right, I'll just measure 2 going up. I'll align my set square with that line there. All right, and then put the other set square next to it, and then slide to the point somewhere up there, and then I'll just draw a light construction line. So this is the thickness of the roof sheet. Okay, so now the question is, where does the roof sheet start? So what you need to do is, you see this point of the roof truss, I'll just draw a perpendicular line from that point. So I'll just draw a light construction line going up there. Then that means the roof sheet will start right there. All right, and then I can just draw in those 2 solid lines like that, just like that. So this is the roof sheet there. Okay, and then now I can just complete my wall there. So what I want to do is I'll slide my T-square up, but first of all I have to extend this line first all the way to the roof sheet there. Then from the roof sheet I'll just draw a horizontal line like that. Okay, let's see. So obviously we do not have gutters there, so it means there is no need for me to draw in a gutter there, because we are not given gutters from the elevation there. Okay, so this is the, okay, it's not complete. I'll have to draw in the tie beam. You see this horizontal member, so I'll have to draw it in. All right, So obviously that part, it rests where on the wall plate there. So I'll just draw a horizontal line there, and then what's the depth of that part? Obviously we are given it's the 120 by 40, so it's the 120. So measure 6 going up. Let me measure it from this line. So I'll just measure 6 and mark a point there. So I'll just draw it in there like that. Right, so because of the break line, that means I'll draw a line all the way to there. Okay, then underneath that tie beam, I'll have to add the rendering strips. Right, we are given here it's 40 by 40 millimeters. All right, rendering strips at 440 millimeters center to center. Okay, so I'll just measure just 3 millimeters from the wall going in, and then I'll draw the first rendering there. And then the depth, obviously it's 2, because when I divide 40 by 20 I get 2 like that. Draw a light construction line there, and then going down it's 40 again, so I'll mark 2 there like that, and then I'll just draw in the first rendering strip like that, just a small square with a cross inside, just like that. Okay, and then they said the next one will be placed at 440. Right, so 440, obviously that means I'll only draw one strip, right, because of this section is too small. Because when I divide the 440 by 20 I get 22, and when I measure from the center of this strip there, 22 is somewhere there, so it means I'll just leave it as it is. All right, and then underneath this rendering I have to add the ceiling board. All right, so I'll go back to the roof notes as well. We are given that the ceiling boards, the thickness of the boards is 10 millimeters, so I'll divide that by 20, which is 1 over 2, it's 0.5, so I can make it 1. All right, so just underneath the rendering strip there, I'll just draw a light construction line, and then I'll just measure 1 millimeter going down. That's the thickness of the ceiling board. All right, are we given the corners? So there's no corners there, so okay, so I'll just draw a straight line there and then show the thickness of the ceiling board as well. Oh, sorry, I overlapped there. Okay, it's fine. So this is the ceiling board here underneath the rendering strip. All right, okay, so this is the complete roof detail for the main house. All right, so that's how you draw the roof. And then after drawing the roof, I can just hatch the walls. I'll just quickly hatch the wall there. Let me just hatch the foundation, the concrete foundation there. Okay, so just using my 45. And also at the top there. Just like that. Okay, I've hatched the wall there, and then I can also hatch the hardcore filling there using my 45. Okay, the concrete slab there. Okay, so I also have the concrete lintel there, small triangles with some dots. All right, okay, please make sure you hatch everything because it's 4 marks. Okay, so the opening there, obviously I have to draw the double swing door. All right, okay, so the thickness of the door, remember, is 50. When I divide 50 by 20, I get 2.5. So I'll measure 2.5 from this line going in. It's there. So I'll just draw a line there. Okay, light construction for now. I just want to double check there. Okay, so obviously I have that frame there. So that part is this part here. All right. And now I'm checking here. We are not given the door profile. So it means I'll just draw a vertical line there. Why am I drawing the door here? It's because of the floor plan there. As you can see, where is the door is there, and we have cut here, and we are looking from this direction. So obviously the thickness of the door will be placed there, so there is a gap there. That gap is this gap here. So this is the door itself. All right, okay. From here, that means I have to draw in the veranda. All right, so what I can do is I can start with the top edge of the 10-degree lean to roof detail. All right, so it's placed there, so it's 127.5 from the finished floor level going up. So it's 127, 127.5 is there, so mark a point there. All right, so I can just draw a horizontal line there, light construction. Take my protractor, place it like that, because we are given the pitch of the roof, it's 10 degrees. So I'll place my protractor there, measure 10 degrees from this side going down, and then I'll just draw a light construction line there for the veranda. Okay, so now I'll have to draw this detail, right? So this is the incomplete lean to roof detail, right? So the thickness of the roof sheet there, it's 40, so I'll measure 2 from the line that I drew. I'll measure 2, align my set square with that line, then slide it to the point that I marked, and then draw a light construction line like that. Okay, so I think I'll just leave it there, because I will have to draw this first. I need this this post so that I know where to end drawing the roof sheet, right? So I can't complete the roof detail, I need the post first, so that means I'll have to draw in the concrete foundation of the veranda first. Okay, so what's the depth of the wideness of the veranda? Because we are not given here, so it means I'll have to go back to my floor plan there. So I'll measure from the external wall to where the veranda end. Right, I'll take my ruler there and measure that length there. It's 24, so I'll multiply that 24 by 50 because the scale for the floor plan is 1:50. So I'll just say 24 multiplied by 50, which is 1200. That's the real life dimension, 1200. And then I'll divide that by 20, which is 60. So I'll just draw a light construction line there, then measure 60. That's the wideness of the veranda. Make a point, and then obviously I'll just draw a vertical line there. Okay, and then from there going down it's 400, so 400 divided by 20 it's 20, so measure 20 there, draw a line. All right, okay, and then let's see. Okay, the ground level, so we'll use this as the ground level. The ground level is there. Okay, so the veranda ends there, so here I can just draw an outline to there. Okay, and then from the ground level going up, it's 150, so 150 divided by 20 is 7.5, so measure 7.5 there, mark a point, draw a line like that. So this is the step. So the step, how wide is it? It's 300, right? So we'll say 300 divided by 20, which is 15. So on that line I'll measure 15, mark a point. So that's where the step is. Draw that in, and draw the horizontal line in there. And then the ground level is there. This goes down to there. Okay, so because this is concrete, so I'll have to hatch that part. Just draw small triangles. To show that this is concrete. Okay, so now I can just draw in the post there. Okay, so I'll just draw a vertical line there, light construction. So the thickness of that post we are given, it's 150. 150 again, it's 7.5, right? Divided by 20, it's 7.5. So measure 7.5 there. Draw a vertical line there.